Gold got some help this morning from news out of China. We have Frank Holmes joining us for Gold Game Film. Frank, not as exciting as last week at the stock exchange, but still happy to see you.
There's nothing more exciting than being on the New York Stock Exchange. It's just an adrenaline rush of competition in free markets and capitalism.
Let's talk gold now, Frank. Gold getting a boost out of that news from China, a surprise interest rate cut, helping the metal now.
Well, I think that what's happening in China is very important, but also the UK, which had a conservative government landslide, and rates never went up in the UK. And I think the other factor has been Greece. So tomorrow's a big pivot point on the payments. But one of the things that's important looking at Greece is the credit default swaps have gone back up again. Whereas when we look at 3-year interest rates, did you know that they were at 30%? 3-year government bonds were at 30%, and now they're down around 22%. So saying that there's a bit more confidence. But when we look at what's called the credit default swaps, where people are ensuring trade back and forth, they're now going back up. So we'll see what happens in the next 48 hours. That's important short term for gold.
Frank, one of your favorite expressions is the trend is your friend. What's the trend looking like here for gold?
Well, the gold stocks have been doing much better when you look at the 50-day moving average, which all the portals seem to look at, or the 10-week moving average. And when we're looking at bullion itself, it's trying to get above it. The gold stocks are leading the way. Many of the senior management and gold mining companies have woken up that they have to be better stewards of capital, and they've been really conscientious about improving their returns on capital. So their stocks are performing better. And I think if we get the price of gold above the 50-day moving average, we get this sort of herd movement, like a flow of funds coming into it, and it'll stop the redemptions. And so think of this. Gold stocks have been rising, and there's been nothing but net redemptions of the GDX, which is a $6 billion ETF.
On that note, Frank, let's get to opportunities and threats now. And sticking to the mining theme, we're seeing increased merger and acquisition activity in the mining space. Could this be an opportunity for gold?
Well, I think that the gold mining companies have to do this M&A work for growth and for reserves and production. So, but I don't think net we're going to get huge growth in production for the whole overall industry. I think we're peaking, and I think we're going to see this happen this year in the overall supply of gold mining companies, because there's been such a cutback in the exploration dollars being spent and the development dollars being spent. And so therefore, if I'm a big company, I have to buy someone else, or even a mid-cap, I have to merge someone else to get that growth profile.
So on to threats now, Frank. I guess the major question is, does gold have a strong enough base?
I think it does, Danielle. I really do, because I think the demand of China at its run rate is going to be substantially greater than last year. And I think the fact that China wants to have the special status of drawing rights for the IMF and the World Bank, they want to have a seat at the table. And they want their currency to be a power currency for trade around the world. And the only way to do that is to have the support of gold behind it. And I think that trend is in place.
All right, Frank, let's end now with your touchdown pass this week. What's it going to be?
Well, I think we're going to take a look at, on Wednesday, we're taking a look at PPI numbers Thursday. So what is the producer price index? Is that rising? And that will be a telltale for interest rates.
Frank, on that note, thanks so much for joining us.
All right, thanks. Same with you.
And thanks for watching this edition of Gold Game Film with Frank Holmes. We'll see you tomorrow.